Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso. We're live on SABC3 on this beautiful Monday morning. Of course, Human Rights Day in South Africa, which was yesterday, and of course spills over to today. And we're continuing our discussion on Human Rights Day. The incredible team from the Justice Desk is here with us, and they're still telling us more about the basic human rights that we should be aware of and why we should really be educating the vulnerable young people on their rights and why it's so important to know these rights. Guys, thanks very much for staying with us.
Thank you.
What are the basic human rights for someone out there that really is a bit clueless when it comes to this?
I would say the starting point is just to look at equality. So making sure that we have access to the same resources and opportunities. That's incredibly important. So the right to life is the number one people go to, which is great. Yep. But we also have the right to quality education. Education is a major thing, and I want to emphasize that because it's not just a building. You need to make sure that there's quality education, teachers, resources for our young people so that they're accessing the equal level and standard of education. But also things like, shelter and protection. Our country is experiencing a femicide. Gender-based violence is absolutely massive. But a lot of women don't realize that, they have rights and they have laws that are there to protect them.
Absolutely.
And those are incredibly important to know. Especially we have situations where people are married and they think, well, because someone is my partner, they can do what they want to me. And because we're married, that's the law. And what we're trying to help people understand is that as a human, you're an individual person. You come with your own rights. And therefore, it's really important to understand what they are. I mean, it can go from freedom of speech. The right to play is something I love to tell people. Like, did you know you have the right to play? The right to rest. It's incredibly important. And like we say to people, it can seem overwhelming, 30 of them, but just start with one a day and work your way through the human rights because they are, like I said, they are incredibly important. And if you do not know what they are, it's likely that people can then exploit you based on that lack of knowledge.
And those basic human rights do play out every single day. So when a child, for example, isn't able to go to school, their right to education is being infringed, right?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the essential human rights. Maybe, Theo, you can come in with us. What are some of the essential human rights that we need to be aware of?
Thank you so much. I mean, we are celebrating Human Rights Day today and looking at, Jessica has mentioned, the basics being your education, the basics being your right to shelter. How many homeless people do we encounter on a daily basis? And we don't even think for a second that it is actually their right to have shelter. And that is why that you actually get a lot of people that would actually have places of safety where these people would be. I think those are people that are aware of these rights and trying to provide for these people. Because whether we like it or not, we are dragging along historical challenges that have been there. And because of that, we're really having to undo a lot of things to get to where we are today, and where a lot of people find themselves compromised because they're not aware that, you're truly infringing on my right, so to speak. And I must say that culture and religion has also played a very prominent role in terms of allowing people to actually infringe on others' rights, where it would be said, you've mentioned that when you are married, all of a sudden you are owned by an individual, which is absolute nonsense. You are a human being in your own right, you have your own rights, and you are unique.
The work that you guys do at the Justice Desk is absolutely incredible. I mean, yes, you are a human rights non-profit organization, but you work across a spectrum of issues. GBV is one of them, and really the protection of children and young people's rights and all of that. But yesterday you hosted a really, really incredible activation, which is really all about building the South Africa that we all want to see. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We have a partnership with the Waterfront, and they always let us kind of take over, which was really lovely.
I love that.
And it was really important for us to help people to understand that, poverty and inequality doesn't just happen. This is man-made. Injustice is a man-made thing. And ultimately, that means that we can smash it, we can disassemble it, we can create a better country that does respect fundamental human rights. But if it was just up to the lawyers and the social workers and the politicians to do it, it would have happened by now. But it hasn't happened. So we always ask the question, well, who is missing in that? And that's you, the every single day person. The minute you wake up, you need to say, what words do I use? What actions am I going to take? Who am I going to surround myself with to make sure that everything I do is in the name of justice and not is reinforcing stigma or discrimination or patriarchy or, you know. So for us, it's about saying, you know, you need to understand what your rights are. To protect yourself, yes, but as South Africans, most importantly, what our history has taught us is that we must protect the rights of others.
Yes.
We have to protect the rights of others, and then realize that it's our collective responsibility to do so. We can't wait on other people anymore, because that's what oppressive forces do. They love and thrive on the fact that people don't know their rights, the right to vote, the right to freedom of assembly, to gather, something which was illegal during apartheid, the right to travel, to seek refuge, the right to a family, which is something that South Africans have fought for, you know, the right to choose who you love, the right to choose the family that you surround yourselves with. These are incredibly important, but as long as we don't know about it, someone will always be there to take advantage of that.
I love that you say we need to be aware of our rights, because when you are aware of your rights, then you are aware that if we are all equal, that your rights are the next person's rights as well. And so you
Yes.
treat the next person the way that you would want to be treated.
Exactly.
Right? It's incredible.
Jessica, Theo, thank you so much for unpacking this, especially on a day like today, to commemorate what we've been through and where we still need to go as South Africa. So thank you for joining us, for you and the team. Also for you at home, you have a voice, use it. Of course, the Justice Desk is doing amazing work. You can check out all of that on their website, which is on your screen right now.